The name Jack Ma needs no introduction in the business space. As a matter of fact, most entrepreneurs wish they could achieve half of what Ma has achieved. I mean, don't we all? But here's the thing. While we all wish to be as successful as Ma, chances are that you wouldn't want to have a taste of his failures. Currently China's richest man with a net worth of over $38 billion, Jack Ma's story is one of insane persistence. He kept getting up after several hard hits, and just like they say, the rest was history. In today's video, we'll dive in deep into how this billionaire journeyed from being a sore loser to becoming China's richest man. Let's get it on. A little boy once believed that everything was possible, as long as you worked hard for it. That young chap was Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. Born to parents who were storytellers and musicians, Ma's name at birth was actually Ma Yun. As a teenager, Jack offered city tours to foreigners to practice and improve his English. One of his foreigner friends nicknamed him Jack, and that stuck. Growing up in poor communist China, Jack Ma faced a series of closed doors. Are you talking about failing thrice at a university entrance exam, getting rejected from 30 different jobs, or being the only candidate out of 24 to be rejected in a job? Jack had it really tough. At some point, his experiences began to mar his optimism. But instead of getting dissuaded, Jack adopted a new and more practical mantra over time. Persistence is key. According to Jack, never give up. Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. And guess what? Jack's almost stubborn persistence has finally paid off. In March 2016, his company, Alibaba, boasted of a net income of 71.46 billion Chinese yuan. Like many legends before him, Jack Ma refused to give up or be told no. He ran like hell towards his own finish line no matter what life threw at him. Just to buttress how stubbornly persistent Jack was, here's a roundup of 6 of his most notable failures. 1. He failed several exams at school. Ma was not a bright student. In fact, he almost didn't make it into middle school. While you may have been lucky to scale through middle school and high school without any resits, Ma failed a key primary school test 2 times. He failed his middle school test 3 times and failed his college entrance exam twice. After failing his college exams twice, he was finally accepted to study English in what was then considered the city's worst university, Hangshu Teachers University. And while you may be tempted to believe that Jack's case in particular, the likes of Forrest Gump, Jack's idol, Albert Einstein, Abraham Lincoln, and Winston Churchill all struggled early in life with their academics. Number 2. Scored 1 out of 120 in a math exam. It's one thing to fail. It's a different ball game to score less than 1% on your college entrance exam. Although Jack prepared, he still failed. The truth is that to this day he still struggles with math. He admits that he is not good at math, he has never studied management, and still cannot read accounting reports. Thankfully, math is not a requirement to become a billionaire. Number 3. Was rejected from Harvard 10 times. Most people will stop after their first or second applications are rejected. But to think that Jack kept on applying to Harvard for 10 good times is enough proof that no was never an answer. Number 4. Turned down from most jobs. After graduating from college, Jack applied to 30 different jobs as a safekeeper and was rejected by all of them. A degree in English from a less than reputable college certainly didn't work in his favor. He also applied to become a police officer and was rejected in 3 simple words: "You're no good." Jack was also the only applicant out 5 in his pool that was rejected from the police force. Number 5. Rejected by KFC. 1 out of 24 KFC applicants in his pool, Jack was the only one to be rejected. 23 others were hired and Jack was rejected largely due to his lack of good looks and short stature. We all know that Jack wouldn't pass for a model, but here's what his wife who married him before he became wealthy says: "Ma Yun is not a handsome man, but I fell for him because he can do a lot of things handsome men cannot do." Love's such a beautiful thing after all. Number 6. Couldn't convince investors to fund his company. When Jack eventually started Alibaba in 1999, the company was not profitable for the first 3 years. Alibaba expanded too fast and almost imploded with the dot-com bubble. The company was just a few months away from bankruptcy. As you can see, Jack Ma has stomached more rejections than most people can take in. A lot of us would have had a breakdown of some kind or come up with excuses to live a mediocre life. However, for Ma, the challenge became a part and parcel of life. After several rejections, Ma managed to secure a small gig as an English and international trade teacher from the university he graduated from. Although his pockets were literally empty, his heart was still full of hope. In 1995, Ma visited the US for the first time, and his friends introduced him to computers and the internet. Prior to his visit, Ma had no idea what a computer was. Surprisingly, the first word that Ma searched for on the internet was beer. He also noticed that when he searched for information about China, it did not yield any results. There was no mention of his country on the internet. This became Ma's first attempt at business. Together with a friend, Ma decided to launch a rather ugly-looking website offering information on China. Interestingly, investors from China began to show interest in the website as soon as it went live. Within the same year, Ma, together with his wife and a friend, were able to raise $20,000 to launch their first company, Chinese Pages. Just within 3 years of operations, Chinese Pages made $800,000. By 1998, Ma was appointed as the head of an information company founded by China International Electronic. Despite these seemingly major breakthroughs, Ma resigned from his job a year later to found Alibaba. Considering where Ma was coming from and the number of rejections he had had, common sense would have told him to grab the closest thing that looked like success and a comfortable life. But Ma was having none of that. Along with 17 other friends, the idea of Alibaba was thought out in Ma's apartment. Alibaba did not record an immediate success. As Ma fondly says, the company made zero revenue for the first 3 years. He notes, "In the beginning, I just wanted to survive. I remember many times when I was trying to pay up, the restaurant owner would say, 'Your bill was paid,' and there would be a note saying, 'Mr. Ma, I'm your customer on the Alibaba platform. I made a lot of money, and I know you don't, so I paid the bill.'" For a start, the Chinese economy had not yet developed enough to support the e-commerce industry, which was then seen as a threat to traditional brick-and-mortar businesses. At every turn, Ma was faced with opposition either from shopkeepers who believed he was trying to put them out of business or from government authorities who were suspicious of his business model. Ma made another critical mistake by telling his existing partners that none of them would rise beyond the ranks of managers. Although he did this to attract a group of new hires to take on open high managerial positions, he admittedly regretted this action. His statement led to the segmentation of the company into several unproductive layers and also led some of his best people to walk out with their resources. To rectify his mistake, Ma decided to concentrate on building his existing team into a stronger and more unified unit. Meanwhile, his efforts had begun to receive recognition overseas. Soon enough, Alibaba received its first round of funding, and that set the ball rolling for the company. Between 1999 and 2000, Alibaba received funding of $25 million of foreign venture capital investment twice. 3 years later, Ma founded Taobao Marketplace, Alimama, Lynx, and Alipay. Within the same period, he rejected an offer from eBay to purchase Taobao. In 2005, Ma was able to secure a $1 billion investment from Yahoo co-founder Jerry Yang. In 2014, Ma made history when he raised the biggest IPO of over $25 billion. This feat broke all the records in US financial history. 4 years later, in 2018, Ma retired as the CEO of Alibaba Group to pursue educational work. Here's one last fun fact before we draw some lessons from Jack Ma's life. In 2017, Jack Ma made his acting debut with Gong Shou Dao, a Chinese kung fu short film. Ma's achievements are practically unbelievable considering his humble beginnings. He failed spectacularly, more than most of us can stomach in a lifetime, yet he went above all odds to succeed. He is concrete proof that no series of failures, despite how crippling, can stop you from achieving your dreams if you don't want to be stopped. Here are some other lessons we can draw from the life of Jack Ma. 1. Make learning a daily habit. As a teenager with limited resources, Ma visited the Shangri-La Hotel every morning in order to learn English. He would pick up Western tourists and exchange free tours around his hometown in return for English lessons. Ma did this every morning for 9 years, rain, shine, or hail. If you want something bad enough, then you need to go out and get it. Don't make excuses for your limitations. Instead, look for ways around them. 2. Giving up is not an option. Rejected is something that Ma is extremely familiar with, but they did not faze him one bit. Truth is that there are 1,001 reasons to give up and throw in the towel. Imagine being told that you don't look good enough to get a job. That could crush your entire self-esteem. But Ma kept pushing. Always remember that if you push hard and long enough, the door will open to you. 3. Trust yourself. Jack Ma already had a reputation for failing, and when he first came up with the idea of starting Alibaba, 16 out of 17 of his friends told him it was a stupid idea. Jack spent the entire night thinking about his idea, and the next day, he decided to give it a go. You don't need everyone to believe in you. As a matter of fact, family and friends may be the first people to crush your dreams. This does not in any way make them invalid. Believe in yourself and get to work, and just maybe you might be successful. There's so much to learn from the life of Jack Ma. From phenomenal levels of failure to becoming China's richest man, Jack Ma is indeed a legend. Have you learned anything from the life of Jack Ma? Let us know in the comment section below.